The arena was silent except for the soft hum of alien machines and the low murmur of cadets waiting their turn. It was a huge, open space filled with strange lights that shifted colors like waves in the air. In the center stood the war beast, a massive creature with dark, glimmering scales and eyes that burned like hot amber. Its claws dug slightly into the ground as it moved slowly, each step making the floor tremble. The creature was known across the galaxy as the ultimate test of strength and leadership. It did not attack randomly, but it did not tolerate weakness either. Whoever it chose would become its pack alpha, and that choice was final. Alien cadets lined up, tall and muscular, with skin in shades of blue, green, and silver. Many of them whispered to each other, their voices trembling. Some of them had trained for years, preparing for this moment, dreaming of the honor of leading the warbeast. The instructors, a council of older aliens with long, thin limbs, watched closely. Their expressions were serious. They had seen many cadets fail, sometimes badly. The warbeast was unpredictable, and every year, a few cadets left the arena injured, humiliated, or worse. The first cadet stepped forward. He was a tall, broad alien with sharp horns curling back from his head. He stomped heavily toward the center, chest puffed out, showing all his strength. The warbeast sniffed the air, growled low, and circled him slowly. The cadet swung his arms and tried to make himself look bigger, trying to impress the creature. The warbeast hissed, and in one sudden movement, it bared its teeth. The cadet froze, unsure, and the warbeast pushed him back with a swipe of its tail. The alien fell to the ground, panting and shaking. The audience gasped, and the instructors murmured. This was not unusual. Strength alone was never enough. One by one, other cadets came forward. Each one tried to show power, skill, or cleverness. Some shouted loudly, hoping to scare the creature. Some jumped and spun, trying to show agility. One tried to strike a pose of dominance, flexing strange muscles and glowing markings on his skin. The warbeast sniffed each of them carefully, its amber eyes cold and calculating. Every cadet was rejected. Some were knocked down with a flick of the tail. Others were ignored as if the creature barely noticed them. The alien's whispers grew louder, tension rising in the arena. "Why won't it choose anyone?" one cadet muttered. "Has it ever rejected all of them before?" another asked. Meanwhile, the human cadet waited quietly at the edge of the arena. He was smaller than most of the aliens, his body not as muscular or strong. He had simple training, not the years of alien drills. Yet, there was a calmness about him, a stillness that the others did not understand. He watched the warbeast move, studying its patterns, its breathing, its tiny shifts of weight. He did not feel fear. Not exactly. He felt a strange curiosity, as if he were meeting a puzzle he could solve. The other cadets looked at him and laughed quietly. "Do you really think you can face that thing?" one whispered. The human just nodded slightly, keeping his eyes on the warbeast. The warbeast turned its head toward the human. Its nostrils flared, and it let out a low growl that shook the air. Some cadets stepped back instinctively. Others held their ground, pretending to be brave. The human took a slow step forward. The warbeast tilted its head, studying him. It had smelled fear in others. It had smelled aggression. But the human smelled different. The creature's instincts stirred, a mix of caution and curiosity. The arena seemed to hold its breath. Even the instructors leaned forward slightly. This moment was rare. Many believed that a human could never survive this trial, let alone succeed. The human moved carefully, slowly, showing no signs of trying to dominate the warbeast. He did not shout. He did not attack. He simply approached, keeping his hands visible and his movements calm. The alien cadets whispered again, some in disbelief, some in fear. The warbeast sniffed the air around the human, circling him slowly. Its claws left faint marks in the ground. Every muscle in its massive body was tense, ready to strike if needed. But the human did not flinch. He met its amber gaze steadily, showing neither fear nor challenge. A strange silence fell over the arena, heavier than the hum of machines or the murmurs of cadets. Everyone watched, knowing that what happened next could change their understanding of humans forever. The human stopped a few feet away, knees slightly bent, hands relaxed. He tilted his head slightly, as if trying to communicate something the warbeast could understand. The creature paused, sniffing more carefully this time. The ground trembled slightly as it shifted its weight, studying him. For a moment, time seemed to stretch. The warbeast had tested many, rejected all, and now it faced something new. Something it could not simply dismiss. The first small spark of curiosity appeared in the warbeast's amber eyes. The human cadet stepped further into the arena, his boots making soft thuds on the metal floor. The other cadets watched in disbelief. Some shook their heads thinking this was foolish. How could a human survive the war beast when even the strongest aliens had failed? The human did not speak. He did not shout. He just walked slowly, deliberately, keeping his movements calm and measured. The war beast tilted its massive head, watching him. Its amber eyes glowed in the dim arena light. Every breath it took sounded like wind through a canyon, deep and heavy. The cadets whispered nervously, some even taking a step back. The instructors leaned forward on their tall chairs, silent but alert. No one had ever seen a human move like this in the arena. Most relied on speed or strength. This human relied on something else: stillness. The human stopped a few feet away from the creature. He looked up, meeting the war beast's gaze directly. He did not smile, nor did he frown. He just looked, quietly, as if trying to understand the creature. The war beast sniffed the air, its head moving slowly from side to side. It growled low, a sound that vibrated through the bones of the arena. But it did not strike. It did not attack. The human raised a hand slightly, palm open, in a gesture of peace. He spoke softly, words almost too quiet for the audience to hear. "I am not here to fight you," he said. "I want to understand you." The war beast blinked, a movement that seemed almost thoughtful. The cadets whispered louder now, some laughing nervously. "He's talking to it," one said. "It's crazy." But the human stayed still. He took another step forward, slow and careful, keeping his eyes on the creature. He did not rush. He did not panic. His heart beat steadily, not from fear but from focus. The war beast sniffed closer. Its claws dug slightly into the ground, leaving shallow marks. The ground trembled with each step it took. The human remained calm, and that calm seemed to affect the war beast. Its growls became shorter, less threatening, and its movements slower. The instructors exchanged looks. One of them, a tall alien with 4 eyes, whispered to another. It may actually work. The human is different from the others." The other shook its head in disbelief. "I have never seen such confidence. He is not strong, not fast, not flashy. Yet the creature is listening." The war beast circled the human, slow and deliberate. Its large nose twitched, sniffing the air and the human's scent. The cadets held their breath. The human stayed low, hands slightly extended. He did not flinch as the war beast passed close to him, its tail brushing the floor with a loud swish. His eyes followed every movement, trying to understand, not to challenge. For a moment the arena felt frozen. Even the air seemed heavy with anticipation. The war beast stopped suddenly, its head low, sniffing closer to the human. The human froze as well, his body tense but relaxed. He could feel the creature's breath, hot and strong, brushing past him. Yet he did not move away. He did not panic. He waited, silent and still, letting the war beast decide. Then something unexpected happened. The war beast lowered its massive body slightly, its amber eyes locking with the human's. It sniffed again, longer this time, as if trying to read his intentions. The human's calmness, his patience, his lack of aggression. It was unlike anything the creature had felt before. The other cadets whispered nervously. Some were afraid. Some were in awe. The human's small stature and gentle movements were holding the attention of the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. The human knelt slowly, not too fast, not too sudden. His hand reached out toward the war beast, open and steady. "I will not hurt you," he said softly. The creature hesitated, then leaned forward slightly, its massive head approaching the human's hand. The audience gasped. Every cadet held their breath. Some whispered prayers. Others just stared in disbelief. The human's hand barely touched the war beast's dark, scaly snout. He did not push. He did not pull. He just rested his hand there, calm and patient. The war beast sniffed again, and then, slowly, it exhaled a long, low breath, a sound almost like approval. The human's eyes remained steady, and for the first time, the war beast did not feel the need to attack or reject. It seemed curious. The alien instructors leaned closer. "Incredible," one whispered. "It has never accepted anyone so quickly, let alone a human." The human stayed kneeling, waiting, understanding that this moment was a test not of strength, but of connection. The war beast moved its massive body, circling him slowly, sniffing, watching, testing every micro-movement. The human did not move unnecessarily. He let the creature decide. Minutes passed, though it felt longer. Then finally the war beast lowered itself slightly, almost like a bow. It sat down before the human, massive body folding gracefully to the floor. Its amber eyes stayed on him, but the tension that filled the arena melted slightly. The audience gasped. The cadets whispered. Even the instructors were stunned. A human, small, calm and seemingly weak, had earned the attention and respect of the warbeast. For a brief moment, the arena was silent, filled only with the sound of the human's steady breathing and the warbeast's low exhale. Every eye in the room turned to the human, understanding slowly that something extraordinary had just happened. Not with strength, not with speed, not with intimidation, but with patience, courage and calm confidence, the human had entered a new world where others had failed. And the warbeast, massive and fearsome, sat quietly, accepting the human in a way that no one had ever seen before. The warbeast's amber eyes stared directly at the human. It had sat down, massive claws pressing into the ground, its tail coiled like a living whip behind it. The arena held its breath. Every alien cadet, every instructor, every observer waited, unsure what would happen next. The warbeast did not attack, but it did not fully relax either. It was testing him. And the human knew it. The human stayed kneeling, calm and steady. He could feel the warbeast's gaze on him, powerful and intense. The air smelled faintly of metal and something wild, something alive and ancient. He did not flinch. He did not speak. He simply looked back, showing no fear. Most cadets would have cowered, screamed or lunged. But the human remained still. He understood something the others did not. This was not a test of strength. This was a test of understanding. The warbeast circled him slowly, each step making the ground tremble slightly. Its scales reflected the arena lights, dark with streaks of bronze and red. It sniffed him from every angle, nostrils flaring, claws scraping softly against the floor. The human held his position, small movements only to keep his balance, hands relaxed. He could feel the creature's weight, the raw power that could crush him in an instant, yet he did not panic. A low growl rolled from the warbeast's throat. It was not a warning, it was a question, a challenge. The human did not answer with words. He stayed calm, letting his posture speak. He slowly moved a hand toward the ground, touching it lightly, showing he was grounded, steady, and aware of his surroundings. The warbeast sniffed closer, leaning in, its hot breath brushing past him. The human held his hand there, steady as stone, showing no sudden motion. The alien cadets whispered to each other, voices tight with tension. "Why isn't it attacking?" one asked. Another shook his head. "It's confused. It doesn't know what to do with him." Even the instructors leaned forward, trying to read the subtle interactions. The warbeast had never met a human like this. None had moved like this. None had approached with such patience and stillness. Then the warbeast made a sudden move. It lowered its massive head and nudged the human gently with its snout. The human froze for a heartbeat, then slowly extended his hand to touch the creature. He did not pull away. He did not push. He just rested his hand lightly against its dark, smooth scales. The warbeast sniffed him carefully, testing, sensing, reading every micromotion. Minutes passed like hours. The human slowly shifted his weight, small adjustments, always calm, always aware. The warbeast moved with him, circling, sniffing, testing. It tapped its claws lightly, scraping the floor, watching for any sign of fear or weakness. The human remained steady, showing only patience and understanding. This was a language the creature recognized, one no alien had ever spoken. The crowd held its breath. The alien cadets' whispers stopped. The instructors exchanged tense glances. The warbeast's amber eyes locked onto the human's, studying him deeply. Every muscle in its body was coiled like a spring, but its aggression had softened, replaced by curiosity. It had met countless cadets, all eager to fight or dominate. This human was different. He did not demand respect through force. He earned it through calm confidence. The warbeast let out a low, rolling growl, softer this time, almost like a murmur. The human leaned forward slightly, careful not to make sudden moves. He lowered his hand to rest fully on the warbeast's snout, his palm warm against the dark scales. The creature sniffed again, long and deep, and then slowly exhaled. The sound shook the air slightly, a low, vibrating breath that carried weight and power. It nudged the human gently again, testing for reaction. The human remained calm, letting the creature guide the interaction. He understood that dominance was not required here. Respect was earned through presence, awareness, and courage. The warbeast had never encountered a cadet who could match it in these ways. The creature circled once more, then paused, letting its head hover just above the human. Its eyes, glowing like molten amber, studied him, searching for the tiniest sign of weakness. The human did not falter. He held his gaze steady, his breathing calm, his body relaxed yet alert. Slowly, the warbeast lowered itself to the ground further, chest nearly touching the floor, eyes never leaving the human. The cadets gasped. The instructor's jaws tightened. This was not just acceptance, it was a sign of trust, of recognition. The war beast was testing one last time, and the human passed without a word, without a gesture of force, without a hint of fear. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, the war beast let out a deep rumble, rolling through the arena like distant thunder. It shifted its massive body and sat fully on the ground, massive tail curling behind it. Its head lifted slightly, amber eyes fixed on the human. It had chosen. Not because the human was stronger or faster, not because he could dominate, but because he had shown understanding, courage, and calmness where others had shown only aggression. The arena fell silent. Every cadet froze. Every instructor leaned forward. The human's small, steady movements had accomplished what no alien had. He had passed the war beast's test. He had proven that strength alone did not define leadership. He had proven that humans could achieve greatness through patience, courage, and empathy. The war beast sat before him, massive and imposing, yet completely still. Its amber eyes glowed warmly, a recognition that transcended language. The human stayed kneeling, hand resting lightly on the creature's snout, understanding that this was only the beginning. A bond had been formed, one that could not be broken, and it was the first step toward a new kind of power in the galaxy. One that no alien had anticipated, and one that would forever change how they saw humans. The war beast remained seated, its massive body coiled like a living mountain. Its amber eyes stayed locked on the human, who knelt calmly before it, hand resting lightly on its dark, glimmering scales. Every movement of the creature was deliberate, each breath slow and controlled. The arena, once filled with whispers and murmurs, had fallen completely silent. Even the machines that recorded the test seemed to hum more quietly, as if the world itself paused to witness what was happening. The human's gaze was steady. He understood now that the war beast was no longer just testing him. It was considering him as its pack alpha. The realization did not frighten him. Instead, he felt a quiet pride, not in himself, but in the trust forming between him and the creature. He had entered the arena with no illusions of dominance, only with patience, awareness, and courage. And now, the war beast had acknowledged him in a way that no alien cadet had ever experienced. Around them, alien cadets whispered in disbelief. It chose him, one muttered, voice trembling. Another shook his head, eyes wide. A human, he's the pack alpha? The instructors exchanged tense glances, their long limbs rigid. Many had doubted humans for years, considering them small, weak, and unpredictable. Yet here was proof, undeniable and overwhelming, that humans were something different. Something dangerous in a way the galaxy had not anticipated. The war beast shifted slightly, its massive tail curling behind it. The sound of its claws scraping the floor made the cadets flinch, but the human did not move. He simply stayed kneeling, calm and aware. The creature's massive head lowered further, bringing its glowing eyes closer to his. It sniffed him one last time, long and deliberate, as if confirming the decision it had already made. The human held his gaze, steady and unflinching. Then the war beast let out a low, vibrating rumble, a sound that rolled through the arena and seemed to touch every living thing within it. The human exhaled slowly, matching his rhythm with the creature's. He did not make a sudden move. He did not show fear or dominance. He simply existed, fully aware and fully present. The war beast exhaled again, a sound almost like approval, and leaned its massive head gently toward the human. Its eyes softened slightly, amber flames flickering with what could only be called recognition. The audience gasped. The alien cadets stepped back, unable to believe what they were seeing. A human, small, seemingly fragile, had been accepted as pack alpha by the most feared creature in the galaxy. The instructors whispered urgently to each other, voices filled with a mixture of astonishment and concern. "This changes everything," one said. "No species has ever bonded like this with the war beast before." The human slowly rose to his feet, keeping his hand lightly on the war beast's snout. He did not push it away. He did not strike a pose of dominance. He simply stood, calm and confident, acknowledging the bond that had formed. The war beast shifted its massive body to mirror his movements, following him with a smooth, deliberate grace. Its amber eyes never left him. It had chosen him not because of strength or size, but because of courage, patience, and understanding, the qualities the creature valued above all. Some of the alien cadets whispered nervously, their voices low. "We trained for years, and a human beats us with patience?" One of them laughed nervously, shaking his head. "How is this even possible?" The instructors remained silent, each one processing the fact that their assumptions about humans were no longer valid. Humans had survived tests no other species could. Humans had succeeded where giants failed. Humans had earned respect not through power but through wisdom. The war beast shifted its massive weight and let out a low rumble rolling through the arena. The sound was deep, almost musical, resonating with the floor and walls. The human reached up, resting both hands lightly on the creature's head. The war beast lowered itself, nudging him gently with its massive snout. The bond was clear. The cadets and instructors could feel it, a tangible connection between human and beast, one that could not be broken by words or weapons. A sense of awe spread through the arena. The human's calm courage, his willingness to understand rather than dominate, had achieved what raw strength could not. The war beast, now fully accepting him, exuded power and respect in equal measure. The human had proven that leadership was not about force alone. It was about presence, empathy, and the quiet strength to stand firm in the face of fear. The human took a small step forward. The war beast followed, massive legs folding gracefully beneath it. Its tail swished slowly, sweeping the ground, and its amber eyes stayed on him. In that moment it became clear to everyone watching. This was the beginning of a new kind of leadership, one that no alien had expected, one that no alien could deny. The instructors finally spoke, their voices calm but filled with awe. "The Pack Alpha has been found," one said quietly. "And it is a human." The cadets exchanged shocked glances, some in disbelief, others in quiet respect. A human had earned the loyalty of the war beast, a bond that had always been reserved for the strongest of alien leaders. The human looked down at the creature, eyes steady and calm. "We will work together," he said softly. The war beast rumbled in response, a sound that carried both agreement and power. Around them, the arena seemed to hum with the realization that something extraordinary had occurred. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were not just survivors or weaklings. They were leaders, capable of forming bonds and wielding influence in ways no one had imagined. The war beast sat fully, body relaxed but alert, tail coiled behind it. Its amber eyes followed every move of the human, reflecting trust and recognition. The human stood tall, calm and ready. The bond between them was undeniable, powerful and unbreakable. For the first time in the galaxy, everyone watching understood that this human had passed every test, without force, without fear and without dominance. And the war beast, massive and legendary, had chosen him. The Pack Alpha was found and it was a human. The arena was quiet now, but the silence was different from before. It was no longer filled with tension or fear. Instead it was filled with awe and respect. The war beast sat beside the human, massive and calm, amber eyes glowing softly. Around them, cadets and instructors slowly realized that what had just happened would change everything. The human had earned the creature's trust, not through strength or force, but through patience, courage and understanding. The alien cadets stared in disbelief. Many had trained for years, preparing to face the war beast with muscle, weapons and speed. They had thought that only raw power could earn its respect. Yet here stood a human, smaller and weaker by every measure, who had succeeded where they had all failed. Some whispered nervously, "How is this possible? A human, leading the war beast." Others watched silently, recognizing that their assumptions about humans were no longer valid. The instructors, a council of tall, thin aliens with many eyes, exchanged quiet glances. They had seen the test hundreds of times. They had watched countless cadets fail, sometimes painfully. Yet this human had passed in a way they had never imagined. "This is unprecedented," one whispered. "He has formed a bond with the war beast that no one else could. He is a leader not because of strength but because of wisdom." The human stood beside the creature, calm and steady. His hands rested lightly on the war beast's massive head, feeling the warmth and power beneath the scales. He did not feel fear, nor did he feel pride in a boastful way. Instead he felt a deep sense of understanding. The war beast was not just a test, it was a partner, a companion, a force that could be guided with patience and respect. Slowly, the war beast lowered its massive head closer to the human, brushing him lightly with its snout. The movement was gentle, almost tender, and the human responded with a small nod. Around them, cadets began to whisper among themselves, some in awe, some in quiet admiration. A few approached cautiously, still unsure how to react. But the human stayed calm, knowing that respect was earned, not demanded. The war beast rumbled softly, a sound that echoed through the arena like distant thunder. The human looked into its amber eyes and spoke in a calm voice, "We will face challenges together. We will lead, not with fear but with understanding." The creature's head lifted slightly, amber eyes locking with his as if acknowledging the promise. The audience, even the instructors, could feel the bond forming. It was more than trust. It was a connection that could not be broken. Outside the arena, news of the event spread quickly through the coalition. Alien leaders, diplomats, and soldiers spoke in hushed tones. Humans were no longer considered small or weak. They had proven that courage, patience, and intelligence could surpass brute strength. The story of the human and the war beast became a symbol, a reminder that leadership came in many forms, and that sometimes the most unlikely beings could achieve greatness. Back in the arena, the humans slowly walked beside the war beast, the massive creature moving with a grace that belied its size. Every step they took together seemed synchronized, a silent demonstration of partnership. The cadets who had doubted humans before now watched with new eyes. Even the instructors who had seen countless trials could not deny the lesson being shown. Leadership was not about domination or fear. It was about presence, courage, and the quiet strength to face the unknown. The human knelt once more, placing a hand on the war beast's snout. "Together we will protect those who cannot protect themselves," he said softly. The war beast rumbled in response, a low sound that carried meaning beyond words. It was agreement, trust, and respect all at once. The bond was complete. From that moment forward, the human was not just a cadet. He was the Pack Alpha, a living legend, and a symbol of humanity's unique strength. Over the following weeks, humans gained respect in the coalition in ways they had never imagined. Alien leaders who once dismissed them as weak now sought their counsel. Soldiers who had laughed at their small size now followed their strategies. And the war beast, massive and fearsome, remained loyal to the human, a constant reminder that true leadership was earned through courage and understanding, not intimidation. The human cadet had entered the arena alone, small and underestimated. He had faced a creature that could destroy him in an instant, without weapons, without speed, without force. He had relied only on his calm mind, his steady presence, and his understanding of the creature. And he had succeeded. The war beast had accepted him. The Pack Alpha had been found. The arena became a place of legend. Cadets who came afterward remembered the human and the war beast. Stories were told of the quiet courage, the calm confidence, and the bond that changed the galaxy's view of humanity forever. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or weak. They were leaders, capable of greatness that even the most powerful aliens could not fully predict. And in the center of it all, the human stood tall beside the war beast, calm, steady, and unshaken. Together they had begun a new era, one where courage, patience, and understanding were the greatest strengths of all. The galaxy watched, and slowly, it learned that humans were not to be underestimated. The Pack Alpha had been found. And humanity had proven, finally and fully, that even in a universe of giants, the smallest and calmest could change everything.